All right, a lot of times a student will ask me, Mr. Q, I don't understand why you make me show my work. I can solve the equation in my head. So it's a simple equation, a simple question. It's a smart question. It's not lazy, right? You're smart, you're intelligent. You can figure out the answer in your head. And my answer to this question is real simple, all right? Math gets more and more difficult as you go along, and you need to have a foundation, a strong foundation. So when you're little, you learn your times tables, divide, add, subtract, multiply, all those types of basic facts. The better you are at those facts, I'm sure correlates to how well you're doing right now in my class. If you're really strong with those number facts, those number skills, you're probably doing very well. And if you're a little shaky and you have difficulty with that, you might be struggling a little bit more. The foundation is essential to your success. So it's the same thing with equations, all right? So you might have a simple equation like this and say, Mr. Q, this is really easy. 3x equals 15, ridiculous, all right? 3 times 5 is 15. I don't want to waste my time showing any steps. I don't blame you, I get it. I don't like doing any more work than I have to do either. But when it comes down to it, just like in sports and basketball, when I go to perform, if I didn't practice, if I didn't do things the right way, practice the little things, then my results would not be what I want. For example, you have a problem that looks like this. This is something you will be expected to solve this year. So if you look at this equation right here, I would say none of you, all right? Maybe one of you, maybe two, could figure this out in your head with a little bit of time. But it's a challenge, right? So it would take a long time to try to figure this out. So instead, you follow a simple procedure, something that you have to do again and again and again. Now, there's nothing simple about solving this. It takes time. But if you just follow the steps, you'll be fine. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do any of this work. I just want you to see what it would look like to complete the steps that are required. Okay, now look at that. That took a lot of time, all right? But you can see that there was a method, there was a procedure, and you can kind of see a balance, one side equaling the other, going through the steps one by one. You can see I distributed on both sides of that equation. I combined like terms on both sides of this equation. And then I solved to get x alone, and that was my ultimate goal, is to determine what x is. If I were to plug -4 into this equation up here for x, all of the x's, I would have a balanced equation, and that's my goal. So when you look at a problem like this, you could say, all right, 3 times 5 is 15. You're right. There's one little step I require as a student, and that's to divide both sides by 3. These cancel, leaving you x alone and giving you an answer of 5. And then I always ask you to box your answer here. There's another step that I require most of the time, which is a check step, but I'm not going to put that in here for now. What I mean by that is you check to see if it works. If 5 times 3 is 15, you know you're correct. If you put this -4 into this equation, both sides of the equation should be balanced. That's it. I wanted to prove to you that the process is essential and it builds from step number 1.